Ready? All right, take 25. Today, we're here to talk about the culture engine again. Last time we talked about what it was and that you would be aware of the invisible impediments, lack of safety, lack of ownership, so on and so forth, and you would use agreement-based management where you make an agreement and if it's broken, you confront it regularly to actually create a culture, because all a culture is are agreements that have become invisible, that have become expectations. Today, we're going to actually talk about some concrete examples about how you can actually start the culture of your team, whether you're a junior developer or a team lead or an executive. Where do we start? Well, I'll tell you where we don't start. We don't start with saying, we want to create a culture of safety. We want to create a culture of quality. No, those things are too big. And they're too grandiose, and you'll find people rolling their eyes and thinking, holy crap, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with software? That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is actually change those invisible expectations. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a problem, any problem. Let's say I'm a member of the team and I'm working with Mohsen. And Mohsen and I are working and a problem happens. For whatever thing, we said, okay, we're working together. We build this feature. We're a little bit late. We get it in. We take it to the client. And then the production bug is found. We come back. We get into a little blame. It's your fault, my fault. Anyway, we fix the problem. We put it back to the client. And they find another problem that we broke by fixing. Holy crap, there's a quality problem here. So we focus on that quality problem. All right, Mohsen and I, whether he's my lead or we're working together, we said, all right, we've got this problem that we want to solve. Or we come together as a team. We have a quality problem. What are we going to do? Well, we agree on what are we going to do to improve the quality. One of the things that come to me as an agile guy, I'd say, you know what, it'd really be good to have CI. So we can check things in. CI is continuous integration. We check things in, the build comes, it sends us an email, all tests are passed. Oh, by the way, that means we have to write tests and so on and so forth. And then once we take something to the client, we know it's been thoroughly tested, and we make an agreement to do that. Now, if you were to go actually do this, chances are we'll make the agreement, one of us will break the agreement soon. It just happens. Anything new that hasn't become a habit, we let it fall, we don't think it's important, and so on and so forth. So let's say I actually break the build and I push it, and Mohsen comes to me and said, Amr, we had an agreement, did this, this, and this. And we either renegotiated or I say, yeah, you know, you're right, I've got to be more careful. And we keep confronting the broken agreements, whether it's me or Mohsen or anybody else on the team, until it becomes the habit of the team. Then an agreement falls away. And that way of working, that expectation becomes part of the way we work as a team. It becomes part of our team culture. Now, neither Mohsen nor I were our team leads, but we made an agreement with ourselves or with the team of, hey, this is what we're going to work because we have a shared problem that we want to solve. That's as simple as it is. It's by solving problems, which we do anyway, but being disciplined about the agreements. Confronting those broken agreements. Don't let a broken agreement pass once and twice and 3 times. No, confront it regularly, because that's the only way you're going to build a habit. If you let it pass once, twice, 3 times, by the time you confront it, it's big, we're angry, it's not going to work. These habits, these agreements, the invisible agreements are our culture. And that's how we build culture. Another example. Again, something that we had on our team when we were working early on. Some of our members were fresh out of college, fresh out of university. So that's cool. They know how to program. It's first time in a live environment. And so somebody who shall say, is called Amr, of course. Every time there was a defect, they take the defect, paste it in Google, take the first answer from, Stack Overflow, and then put in the code. Very little learning there. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This isn't something about this person. Actually, what do you say, 70% of developers around the world do this? The problem is it's not very effective. And so it wasn't working for us. We were getting stuck in these errors because, hey, we didn't actually read or study the error log. So we made an agreement, just members of the team. All right, when we get an error, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to read it and understand it. Then we can go search, and before we cut and paste, we actually need to understand what's happening. It's not a cut and paste problem. What we're doing is we're optimizing for learning instead of optimizing for getting this defect. Because the more we learn, the better we can actually build code and have fewer defects in the future. And that took a while for us. You know, we made the agreement, we broke it a couple of times, and just by repetition, it's now the way we work. It's now the way anybody works. If somebody were to join us and pair with any one of us, they would learn, hey, this is how we address defects. And it became part of our culture. So this idea, the beautiful thing about this technique, about the culture engine, is agreements is nothing new. This is how we deal as human beings with each other around the world, across cultures. It's that little piece of being able to confront broken agreements regularly and successfully by working on the invisible impediments. Then you've got the engine of culture change. Culture change is agreement by agreement, thin vertical slice by thin vertical slice, problem by problem. And what's really cool is when you focus on your problems, you are creating a culture that is tailored to your team and your environment. That's amazing. And of course, everything we said goes for the individual contributor, goes double and triple for leads, directors, managers, executives, because our agreements with others are the culture, and how we act affects so many more people. That's all I've got to say right now about how to use the culture engine to actually incrementally change your culture. Until next time.